when George Floyd died at the hands of police in the United States, it gave bigger global visibility to the Black Lives Matter movement. In South Africa, it became connected to the death of Colin Scorza. But very quickly, it became a polarization between Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter when white South Africans demanded justice for the killing of white farmers. This discursive construction of the choice between Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter is actually a false choice. And we as white women are quite concerned about the racial polarization, and also ask ourselves the question, what would be a productive response to Black Lives Matter? Robin DiAngelo in her book White Fragility makes the point that white people, in their lack of support for anti-racist initiatives, have all kinds of responses, like being angry, guilty, feeling shame, or argumenting. But none of these responses are actually very productive and can be quite paralyzing. So our project is to think through what a productive response would be for us as white women to the Black Lives Matter movement.
When we as white women come to this question of how to respond to or show solidarity with anti-racist movements in South Africa today, we come from a very specific and very vital positioning and implicatedness. From the early days of colonialism, the white woman has been constructed as this vulnerable creature that needs to be protected by white men against black men, and this is no coincidence. The racist projects of apartheid and colonialism were deeply invested in harnessing the reproductive sexuality of the white woman in service of the white family and the white folk. At the same time, racist colonial narratives portray and thereby racialize the black man as hypersexual, and in this way sex and gender are at the heart of colonial racism. So then a large part of the ideological justification for violence against black people and racial segregation lies in this idea that the white woman must be protected against the constructed sexual threat of the black man, and this results in vehement policing and surveillance of both white women and black men. In contemporary post-apartheid South Africa, we see this dynamic playing out very strongly in new, privatized and informal ways, for example, in private security discourses around crime in white middle-class neighborhoods. Typically and historically, the white woman is complicit in upholding and perpetuating these narratives. She willingly submits to white patriarchy, so she trades sexual freedom and political agency for the comforts of white privilege. But at the same time, and this is what we are interested in this project, her ambiguous positioning on these uncertain edges of whiteness gives her a lot of power to destabilize these structures that continue to underpin and shape our society.
Right, so we try to first of all give an account of where white women are positioned within the settler colonial system. But then we do not want to conclude from that therefore white women do not have anything interesting to contribute to the anti-racist debate. So we take issue with those who say that white women they have either a trivial or illegitimate contribution to make to this discussion, which very often silences white women and paralyzes them, and actually then they remain in the position where they were before, just perpetuating the status quo. So we are searching for alternative ways to combat racism from our very own specific structural positionality. So we are looking for the aspects of how we are positioned that could be leveraged for disobedience and opposition to the system. And we feel that there are, in our lived experience, aspects that can be theorized and investigated with the eye to how white women can best contribute to anti-racist activism.